You can see what's going on here. It looks like it's sealed up pretty good. Still wet. It's been about 10 minutes, that's all. I'm gonna take a few hours. I gotta get this done. I've got an archery tournament coming up, 2 archery tournaments in March, so I can't work on this anymore now, and I want to get it on the water by the end of March. We're looking at it's only the first week in March, so I got time. This was a biggie though. We got it mounted. I got the pedal in, and I got to put the puck in yet. I'm gonna go here, the compass, and then the trolling motor will be done, and I can work on the electronics, which shouldn't be too bad. Catch you later. Okay, so it's time to mount the compass, and there's plenty of room underneath here. There's a screw head over here. You just see it bulging out, so I want to keep this away so I can still have a good footprint here to get on and off the boat without getting near this. And this is cleared all to the end, so I want to be able to, you need to point it in a forward direction. It needs to be horizontal, which does that mean with the boat? Does that mean with the earth? I don't know, but if I have to shim it later, because I know this boat does have a downward angle with all the weight in the back. But we'll see how it works. And what I want to do is I want to get my heat gun and try to peel this back so I can put a large enough hole to drive this through, but only a little X in the material in case someday I upgrade or next user upgrades and doesn't need this anymore. They don't have this big gaping hole. That's my plan. So I think that's enough. Still sticky. Okay, so there's my hole. I'm just going to, yeah. Here's how my connection came out. And I think they're sealed up. Let's see how they hold up to the season. This is pretty thick shrink tubing. This is, oh, that's like 3/16 of an inch thick, 1/8 inch. So it's a nice product. I like that, the way it worked out. The task will be taking all this stuff and trying to get it up out of the way so the rods don't hit it. But we'll talk about that when the time comes. So next, I need to look into the sonars, and that's to be the next step. So I got to read up on it first, and then I will get back to you guys. Okay, guys, I'm doing the active target module install, and I ran the cables along the side. I'll show you that later. But the important thing is, I put it underneath my console. Oh. As you can see it there on that aluminum plate. Now, they went in a good ventilated area. I took off this tap light on the outside here, so that hole's still there. And this aluminum plate's going to act as a major heat sink, so I'm not worried about any heat issues. One major tip: tie in your sonar plug first before you install it, because there's about 20 little pins in there, and I bent them. I had to take the whole thing back out, straighten them out with a micro screwdriver, and then put it back together with the cable in. But it's done, thank God. What a mess. And you can see all that wiring I stuffed back in the hole here. So there's an Ethernet cable, a power cable, and much of the sonar cable. And I can close this up and move on. Okay, it's another cold day, and just finished up my NMEA backbone. I mounted it right here. So I got a starter kit with 3 T's, 2 T's. The Ghost came with 1, and I had to buy 1 extra. I'm not sure I had to do that or not, but I have a terminator on each side. They came with the kit. This is the trolling motor. This is power to the NMEA backbone, or maybe this one is, I can't remember. But one is HDI, the HDS Gen 3 touch and the HGS Live. This will allow me to have trolling motor control from either unit, and the Ethernet connection between the two will allow me to mirror each other. So how am I going to get all this stuff in? Here's what we do. Down like that. This, I don't have my bracket yet, but my bracket will go here for the HGS Live. Here's my connection. This is a Ace Hardware desktop bushing 1.5 inches that hopefully I can weasel all these guys through here. This is very dirty, so I'm going to get it cleaned up before I mount it up. Next step is put the batteries in before this gets installed and make sure everything works, of course. That'll be the next step. Okay, so I'm still going to be learning things about the HGS systems, and I'm not here to talk about that right now because I might say something wrong. Like mirroring, you can't mirror the two units together, so forget about that. Let's just talk about the rigging right now. So issues that I've had, let's talk about the active target. As you saw, active target is up underneath the console here on the piece of aluminum. One thing I found is that the sonar connection, you want to do that first before you put the unit up. There's about 12 or 15 pins in there, and me trying to get that in, I bent the pins. I had to take the whole thing back out, straighten the pins out. So get your sonar in first, then mount it, and then the other two cables going fairly easily. The other thing is the yellow wire. There's a red, a black, and a yellow. If you don't tie the yellow to the red, if you tie the yellow to the HDS, then when you turn the HDS off, the active target will turn on. Well, my harness doesn't allow that to happen the way I have it wired, so I had a loosely hanging yellow, and it never came on. The yellow's got to be tied to the red if you're not going to use it, or else it won't come on. With that said, now I've got to use a switch to turn off the active target, or it will never turn off. I have a sonar switch here, and what I did, I switched out the stock switch with an illuminated switch. Is that going to help me? Boy, I hope so. But we'll find out. But illuminated switch, that's for all my electronics, turns them on and off. All right. Now, this nightmare here, running along the gun rails, and what I've done is, this is a T-bolt. You use this in the shop, the wood shops, shaped like a T. Put it in the front, slide it back. This is 1.25 inch brace, corner brace. You put a little bit of hole in here. You slide this through that slot, and then you screw it down to the gun wheel, and then that controls this carpeting. I still have to do that all the way down the pike here. Okay, guys, I wanted to mention about this panel here. Remember, I put the NMEA bus bar underneath this, and what I had to do was I had to cut some carpeting out to get this to fit more flat. It still was a little bit of preload, but it did close up okay. Got the comfort troll from Tackle Warehouse. It's a very nice bracket. It's either 12 or 14 gauge. You do have to drill it, no biggie. And that is rock solid. And it matches the boat. You can get them in different colors, so you might want to check those out. Came out pretty good. All right, this last thing I want to talk about is something I've been doing for a couple years now. Pennsylvania, as I mentioned, electric, so I'm up here most of the time. And I want to use both my units, and when I'm running with a motor on some lakes, of course I want it back in the console. So how do I do both without buying another unit? That's a heavy-duty ram mount. What we do is we take this and we just move it up here to what I just have a piece of pipe with a PVC cap right now. I'm going to upgrade that. These the big balls are big balls. The big ram mounts are kind of expensive. So this allows me to run my two units up front And I never run a big motor with this. This will be off of here and back if I run the big motor. If I have a good ram mat on here, then I'd be able to do that. Just maybe put it down and run, or go back and forth. So before it was only a couple wires, but now I got NMEA and I got 2 Ethernets going in here. So I covered this with the conduit. It works. Both units come up. I'm all upgraded. The trolling motor is upgraded. And one last thing, that wasn't the last thing. If you recall, we had to put spacers under here because of this lump. That means you can't capture the safety strap. So this is the existing screw that tied the sheet metal to the wood underneath. I drilled through that, but then what happened was the Velcro wasn't long enough. So I had my wife sew on another stretch of Velcro here, so now I'm able to easily tag that down. And that is it. So when I get on the water, I will hopefully maybe do another video if it's worthwhile, but I got a lot of cleaning up to do. The place is an absolute disaster. If you guys have comments, please put them down. I'll always answer comments. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. I did see one other ghost on the tracker, but I don't think the guy was from the US, and guys are asking questions and he wasn't answering anybody, so I will. So feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer the questions. And subscribe if you like, and give me a like, dislike, comments. I'll take them all. Thanks, guys.